Welcome back to another episode of the Katrina Johnson Show. So happy to have you with me today. Remember to subscribe, share the podcast, leave comments. I would love to hear from you guys. Also, you can follow me online at katrinajohnson.online or on Instagram at I am Katrina Johnson. I thank you again for joining me, and let's get into the show. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me again for another episode of the Katrina Johnson Show. I am grateful to have you as usual, and this week I want to talk about having happiness in our life. And so I posted a quote by Marcus Aurelius, if I'm pronouncing the name right, and that quote simply says, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." And again, that's by Marcus Aurelius. And so just to kind of dive into that quote and just break it down a little bit, I believe that it's the quality of our thoughts that determine our emotions and how we experience life. So if you see that your thoughts are taking you in a direction that is less than happiness, joyfulness, gratefulness, loveliness, it's the wrong direction. And so we do have control over our thoughts. We can't go a day, a second, a minute without thinking, right? And so we have to begin to determine what we allow to stick, so daily we have millions of thoughts, and I might be exaggerating a little bit, but thoughts go through our minds all the time, and we have to begin to be cautious and also conscious of what we're thinking about, and that is where we begin to control those thoughts. So if you, for instance, your quality of thoughts throughout the day or this day is just messed up, I can't win for losing. It's always something going wrong. Why is my luck bad? I mean, those thoughts are so negative. They're very negative. Then guess what? You're going to reap all that you say and think. If you're thinking those things to yourself, and as a matter of fact, a lot of people speak those very words out of their mouths and then wonder why their life is less than what they want. So we have to remember that the quality of our thoughts will determine our emotions and how we experience life. So do the opposite, meaning if it's not bad or if it's not a good thought and it's a bad thought, turn that around. And another way to look at it is, if we want more of God's abundance that's available to us on the earth, then we have to realize that there is something that we can do about that. You may be accustomed to living a life of mediocrity, right? But do you want to stay there, or do you want to experience the abundance that's out here? There is so much. We can look at the trees on the earth, the mountains. Just look at everything. I always say the trees because no matter where you are, where you live, unless it's the desert, and even the desert has some forms of trees as far as dry plants, cactus plants and stuff like that. But for the most part, you can look out any window and see trees in abundance. And not only that, you can see all of the leaves on the trees, all of the branches on the trees. If you dig a tree from the ground, you'll see all the roots. Everything is in abundance. And our quality of our happiness in life does depend on our quality of thoughts. So if you are living a life of mediocrity, and you really want more, you want to do more, you want to be more, you want to have more, not to say you're just looking for material things, but no, you just want to experience life to the fullest. Just remind yourself of the abundance that's out there, the trees, like I said, and know that as human beings, we should be above the trees, right? We should be able to, since we have been given dominion over the land, over the earth, to care for the plants, the trees, the flowers, and every living creature, then we should be able to tap into that abundance for our own lives. That will bring us happiness. And also, the shift in our health and finances, our relationships, and environment often occurs when we decide to change our thoughts and think in ways that produce transformation. So this is where self-improvement comes. We have to shift the way we do things, the way we think, in order to shift those areas in our lives that are important, like our health, our finances, our relationships, our environment. The saying that goes, when you do the same thing expecting something different, that's insanity. So changes have to take place if we want to see the shift in our lives in those areas. And also, a desire for a better way of life does require us to be growth-minded. Once our minds are made up to think and act in a way that produces positive changes, this is when the magic happens. And we can do that by reading books that will edify us and get us to think outside the box, get us to expand our knowledge in the way that we think and apply different techniques in life. If you're doing something and you see that what you're doing is not giving you the results that you need, no matter what it is, what you do is you make a change. You do something different. So for a better life, it does require us to be growth-minded and do the things that will grow our knowledge, that will grow us in an area. It's just like a baby learning how to walk. If a parent does not let that child, give that child the opportunity to use the walker or just try to pull itself up on a table to walk, the child's never going to walk. Or if the child falls learning how to walk and the parent always picks the child up to save the child and doesn't give that child that chance to try again, to grow, to expand, then that is not a benefit for the child. It's not a benefit for the parent being a child. You're stunting the growth of that child. So the same with adults, with us as human beings, as grown people. We have to look at our lives and say, hey, do I want a better way of life? Okay, so what is that going to require? I need to be growth-minded. I can't be in a fixed mindset where I'm just stuck here because I don't think I can do better. I don't believe I can do better. This is just how it's going to be. I mean, you can go there. We have free will. We have the power of choice. But if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. If that is not what you want, then that's where you have to make up your mind to begin to act and do things in a different way. And you can learn so much just by, like I said, studying books based on growth mindsets and things that you may have not even ever thought about, that would allow you to change your life. Like, again, the way you think. There are so much information and so many books out there that will teach us how to think in a way that will bring us a life of happiness, a life of joy, a life of peace, a life of love. We have to seek it. There's sometimes there's lessons in life and things that we learn, along the way throughout our life's journey that we know that's within us. Somebody has shared it with us. Somebody has mentored us. But then a lot of it comes from our seeking to know better, to do better, to be better. And when you seek, you've got to do your own research. You've got to study. You've got to, like I said, read. Find out what it is that's missing in your life and begin to shift your mindset, and so that you can reach the goals that you want and have that life of happiness. Okay, so that's it for today. I am going to sign off right now, hoping that you got something out of that. And until next time, remember, stay inspired. Let's keep the conversation going by emailing me at katrina@katrinajohnson.online. That's katrina@katrinajohnson.online. So grateful that you joined me on this episode. Remember, information plus inspiration equals transformation. And until next time, stay inspired.